Welcome to a look back at the climax to one of the most competitive ice hockey seasons of the modern era. No one team dominated this season, it went right down to the wire in the Premier Division, and as we'll see, the Championship finals produced one particular game to savour between the former champions and the new kings of British ice hockey. Whilst Peterborough, Whitley, Milton Keynes and Bracknell were having their own battle for Premier survival, the other 8 teams in the top flight were about to embark on the often uncertain path to the arena at Wembley on the 4th weekend in April. A meeting of the 2 unbeaten sides in Group A of the playoffs, the Panthers against the 5 Flyers. And they're looking for Chuck Taylor on the point. Taylor fires it in, and Ricky Grubb says, "I didn't see that. I was screened by the bodies in front of me." Here come the Panthers again with Simon Hunt looking for a way through. Grubb makes a save, and on the follow-up there's Paul Adey. He's in prime form at the moment, and there he is again for the loose spoils. Brabant in the corner looking for the man out wide. Shot from Hunt again. He's causing no end of problems. Didn't get the assist on the second goal, but scores number 3. Hunt, great chance for Adey. He's already scored 1. He ends up in the back of the net. Now the Panthers are claiming the goal. Graham Horner is going to give the goal. Goal number 4 of the night on the power play. Shots ranging in again on Stephen Butler. He's been equal to just about everything being thrown his direction. That's a bad clearance by Grubb, putting himself in problems. Randall Webber had an empty net to shoot at and didn't miss out on the opportunity. Short-handed goal for the Nottingham Panthers. Flyers are going to have to get themselves back into this game and quickly. As to Reed, fans on it, but it sneaked through. And I think Stephen Butler had a forest of bodies in front of him there. Panthers again with men forward. Adey from a wide angle. He scores quite a few from there. Paul Adey picks his spot, bottom right-hand corner, and the Panthers are running amok. It's all Panthers pressure. Hunt. Belanger will look to walk it in. Well, he decides to do the honourable thing and give it to Simon Hunt, his second of the night. Wilson holds his man in. Hunt gives a bit of push and shove. They cleared the zone. Now Smale might have to do it all by himself, and does do it all by himself with a little help from a deflection from Stephen Butler. Trying to find a route to goal. Taylor slams it in. Brabant's causing problems, and Simon Hunt again finds the target. Ricky Grubb none too happy. That's Hunt again. Marston's trying to keep him away from the play. Smell will go in to help out, but belatedly, and another goal goes in for the Nottingham Panthers. They really are in prime form, and Randall Webber it is who scores his second of the game. 9 now for the Panthers. Reed dumps it in for Webber. Oh, a little bit afters there with Robertson and Trickett, and they're going to go for it, toe-to-toe. Now Ian Robertson picked up a bit of an injury the night before against the Sheffield Steelers, but now he's weighing in with a few blows. Trickett's underneath him. Quite a bit of blood on the ice, which may well have been from the cut sustained by Robertson the night before. Linesman very keen to intervene and break things up rather quickly. Trickett just looks up. Robertson's got a lot of blood all over his shirt. Trickett's being taken away. Crowd get behind their man. Break on now for Brabant. He's got all the time in the world to pick his spot, and does just that. You have to feel sorry for John McCrone, who's changed places with Ricky Grubb. Working like a dervish. Simon Hunt, what a great game he's had. And that's the 3rd short-handed goal of the night for the Nottingham Panthers. Smale. Look for a bit of a drive on there. Smale looks for the man wide open. Shot coming in, and that's converted by Gordon Latto, but it's 11-3 to the Panthers. A comprehensive start then for Mike Blaisdell's team, as Fife's hopes of adding to the Scottish Cup took a huge dent. In the same group, it was just like old times for the Hawks and the Steelers. Unbelievably, the Hawks and the Steelers have met 10 times already this season. This is meeting number 11, and this is Phil Huber driving to the net and gets around Martin Mackay. And we've had 1 minute and 57 at the Hull Ice Arena, and the Hawks 1-0 up. Priestley wins the face-off. There's Callan looking for an opening. In comes the rifle range shot. Follow-up from Ron Shudra. And 5:55 on the clock. And Ron Shudra, with a painkilling injection before the game, is playing and scores the game-tying goal. Shudra tries to tie up his man. Here's Cahill. Cahill looks for somebody open. That man open. Once again, it's Phil Huber causing problems for Martin Mackay and the absent defence. Young will around again for Morrison, who's out in front, but before he can get there, it's Darcy Cahill who forces it home. Huber was there. Assist also for Scott Young. Straight in from the face-off, Ken Priestley will get the credit for that. And everything done in slow motion, but Priestley will score, and does score, for the Sheffield Steelers. Sean Johnson, good drop pass, wide open again. And that's goal number 4 of the night, and Anthony Johnson scores 5 minutes and 57 into the second period. Young, driving to the net is Cahill. They're looking for him out open, but they don't need him. Slipped under the body of Martin Mackay by Phil Huber, and it's 5-2 to the Humberside Hawks. Here's Wilson. Wilson's going to go all the way. That's a great goal by Rob Wilson. Out of defence, all the way. Oh, I think he's going to enjoy this one. He said he is going to enjoy this one. It's put the Steelers 2 goals behind now. It's 5-3 to the Hawks. Pass to Nemeth. Looking for the man up front. There's Chris Kelland. Poaching around the far pipe. 5-4. Millie on the turn. Millie again, yes! It's dribbled in, and I don't believe Danny Thompson saw that. Les Millie saw it all the way into the bottom left-hand corner. Shudra. Still Shudra, he might go all the way. Shudra! His second of the night, and for the first time the Sheffield Steelers are in front, and he's enjoying every moment of that. Millie. Open for Plummer! That's surely sealed it now. 7-5 to the Sheffield Steelers, and their first 2 points in the playoffs.
Another one of those almost expected comebacks from the Steelers, and those first 2 points in the playoffs after defeats at Kirkcaldy and Nottingham. Talking of which, battle recommenced between the 2 biggest adversaries in the sport just days later. A defeat for Alex Dampier's men, and qualification will be a difficult prospect. The Sheffield Arena that Wednesday night was heaving.
There's not much these 2 teams don't know about each other. Their third meeting in the space of 11 days, and from the Steelers' point of view, a point is essential. So far, just 2 from 3 games in the playoffs. The Panthers will know only too well the man they have to keep quiet is import forward Ken Priestley. He robbed them of the league with an astonishing 5 goals in Steelers' 8-6 win at Lower Parliament Street. Steelers have a lot of injury problems, including Steve Nemeth, their top scorer. Nottingham Panthers go into this match following a surprising 6-5 reverse at Humberside the previous Sunday, but are still well placed to make the Wembley semi-finals for the 2nd year running. They'll be hoping Rick Brabant can recapture the kind of form that's seen him get to the finals with Durham and Cardiff in the past. If he does, they could be there. Referee for the game is Nico Tuerman, the chief referee in Britain. The Nottingham Panthers playing from right to left in their black and gold strip. Steelers in their green, white and orange. Cleared from deep by Wilson with O'Connor for support. Played back in by Waghorn. So O'Connor again. And that's Steeler Dan getting acquainted with some of the younger fans at the Sheffield Arena. Simon Hunt getting a bit of a buffeting. Puck fired in by AD. Plummer. Panthers looking good at this stage. AD's taking up his position in front of the net. AD on the turn, finds the spot. Martin Mackay absolutely powerless to do anything about it, and AD did what his coach Mike Blaisdell will have wanted of him. Hunt follows through. Still Hunt, good work by him, but Wilson made sure there was no way that he was going to make too much advance towards goal. Taylor, good stop by Mackay, but it's loose again. Cranston now. Here come the Steelers pushing forward with great pace. Millie, drop pass to Cranston. No way through there. Waghorn made sure that out in front. There's Millie. Les Millie ties the game. 9:27 on the clock. Priestley in the face-off circle, looking for the opportunity. Shot comes in from Scott Neal. And I don't believe Stephen Butler really saw that. I don't think he was expecting it to come in quite as quickly from the face-off as it did. Waghorn with Plummer at his back. Press will try and keep the puck in the zone, but he'll watch it float past him. So the chase on now. Mike O'Connor will find an opportunity to work it clear if he can. Oh, that's gone through Martin Mackay. He won't be at all happy with that. Nottingham Panthers will be delirious. Premack has to chase back. Finds Steve Nemeth at his heels. Come back up for Kelland. Millie was there looking for the rebound. It's now shot back to the other end of the ice. Mackay needs a good clearance. Doesn't really get it far enough away. Here's 80 open. 80 shoots, and Mackay in the top of the body, but then Simon Hunt does it again. And that look on Simon Hunt's face will tell you everything you need to know about the importance of that goal in terms of getting the Nottingham Panthers focused on what they have to do for the rest of the game. Millie. Branston taking position in front of net. Good save again by Butler, but it's loose. Worked away by Belanger. O'Connor under pressure. Certain spring in the step, and Nottingham Panthers have found extra gear. More life in their performance right now, and everything seems to be turning towards them. Belanger, chance here through the middle. Lambert goes down, but gets it away. How did he do that? How did Ross Lambert get that shot away? He was off balance, falling over to his left, looked to be careering into the boards, but somehow, some way, Ross Lambert got the shot away. Chris Kelland. Hunt, well, there's a swarm of Panthers around the front of the net to make sure there was not much room for the clearance, and they picked it up again with Hunt. Martin Mackay wasn't quite sure whether to come or not for that one. Did eventually. It's worked out okay from a Steelers point of view. Now Shudra, one-on-one opportunity. Shudra walks it in. Ron Shudra, short-handed. 2 minutes and 53 into the third period, and the Sheffield Steelers reduce the arrears. It's 4-3. Yes, we did. And the Steelers, who were down by a man on the ice, find themselves within striking distance of the Nottingham Panthers. 4-3. Brabant. Hunt. Shot from 80. Out of nothing. On the power play, Shudra scores, and within seconds. In fact, it was 11 seconds. That's how quickly this game can turn around. Tate. Wide on the right. Blasted in. And again, Martin Mackay tries to kick it away as far as possible to avert the danger. O'Connor. There's Priestley. What can he do from here? Nothing from that angle, because Butler had it covered, but he's out of position now. It's real danger here. Kelland, yes! Then a follow-up involving Butler. And Priestley's under there. And Butler is just smothering Priestley. He's face down on the ice. Butler out of position, wasn't allowed to get back in, and 80 goes for a little bit of afters with Chris Kelland. Plummer's in there with Brabant. Hunt, Taylor at the back with Shudra for the second time in the night. Priestley face down. And the home crowd absolutely incensed. 2 minutes telling Chris Kelland about something. Hunt goes to linesman Carson. Hunt talks to Mike Blaisdell. Nico Tuma goes to talk to the timekeeper. And that goal does count on 44-27. But the upshot of that is players are going to be departing. Now, Rick Brabant will serve a 2-minute penalty. The penalty actually called on Stephen Butler, who gets a 2+10, cross-checking from behind. But Tommy Plummer has gone for a game misconduct. He got 2 for roughing, but he's got a game misconduct also. All 4 down. Priestley underneath that heap. Plummer on top. Wilson. Priestley. Oh, God, I'm sure he'll be fired up now. Neil. Priestley sending pass. Priestley, yes! Oh, yes. That answers them all. Ken Priestley. He's had a rough time tonight. very rough time. Fully not been playing at his very best either in this game, but the opportunity is there. Steelers trying to keep it in the zone. Successful at the moment with Cranston. Hasn't got any options to unload the puck at the moment. Now finds one. Shudra drives it in. Priestley. Millie's taking up his station in front of net. Cranston's just in behind him. Priestley looking for a way through. Cranston! Jürgen Klinsmann, watch out. This man's looking to take your title. Tim Cranston on the power play. 49:09. And this game is now tilting back in the other direction. They certainly won't give up in this situation. I think it might well fire them up because they don't want to suffer a second defeat by the Sheffield Steelers in the space of 11 days. And on this game may well rest who comes top or second of Group A. If the Steelers go and win their next two home games, there's a Steelers absolute present for Paul Adey. Thank you very much, he says to Mike O'Connor. Just what I wanted at that stage. And that is a hat-trick for Adey. Shudra, Millie. Off the head of Chris Callan there. Cranston. Premack's got to watch this one like a hawk. It's bouncing and bobbling nastily. Millie. Shudra, a little deft touch behind. Millie will pick up on it, not before Taylor gets it. He's won it back though, Millie. Cranston! What's he got for us this time? Not the dive this time. He's being absolutely swamped by his teammates. And 2 goals in just over 5 minutes from Tim Cranston may well have turned this game around totally now. There's still time for a Panthers comeback. Callan's crowd now in eager anticipation. Panthers are going to have to pull in that minder if they want to get the game-tying goal here. Waghorn, and that's it. It's all over. 60 minutes of ice hockey at the Sheffield Arena. That's the happy section of fans, the Sheffield Steelers supporters who've seen their team claw their way back. 7-6 over the Panthers.
There's not been a game all season between those two teams that hasn't had the fans on the edge of their seats. That group, Group A, still had plenty to play for at that stage. The same couldn't be said of Group B. Durham and Basingstoke now just supporting players in a production led by Cardiff and Edinburgh.
Basingstoke against Edinburgh at the playground in Hampshire, and nothing much riding on this game. Edinburgh look like top dogs in Group B, Basingstoke out of contention. That's good work by Perrault, working his way to the right. Perrault with the shot. The feed coming in from Grant Slater, and Basingstoke on the board. 7:20 on the clock. Edinburgh just going through the motions a little bit at this stage. Pickles! And Andy Pickles finds a way through. Barclay Pearce with the assist on that goal. See something from the racers in this game. Not much being shown by them so far. Merv Priest tries to drive to the net. Richie Lamb. And at last, it's taken a while. Second period now. It's 2-2. That makes it 3-2 though. Chris Palmer finding a way past the defences of Morrison. Good save made, but still a bit of a scramble around the face of the net. Still an opportunity opening up. Ross Perrault ties the game. 2.5 minutes into the second period. It's 3-3. Is there a way through? There is a way through. Quite how they found a way through, I don't know, but Barclay Pearce it is who'll get the credit for the goal. Assist, I think, from Brendan Flynn on that goal. On the power play. Basingstoke go in front. No Kevin Conway. His wife's just had a baby, so they're without one of the top marksmen. Pickles finds a way through. Maury Hansen having the night off from the backup netminder, struggling to pick that one out. Pierce in the face-off circle. It's back to Flynn. Looking for a way through. Shot from Perrault. And again, by picking apples, no difficulty at all for him. We're just going through a phase of saying, I think we'll just ease back. We know we're at Wembley. Going to overexert ourselves tonight. Here's chance for Matulik, though. Well, he thought about feeding it off. He didn't in the end, decided to take it all the way. He had Palmer and Hand open. More pressure coming on the Racers' defence. Pentland tries to work it away. That's Scott Plews. But Beavers are humming around the goal. There's Redmond on the turn. And Redmond makes it number 7 of the night for the Beavers. Driving to the net, there's Pickles. That's his 3rd of the night. He's done well. You don't often see a Brit in this sort of competition scoring 3 goals. Pentland fires it in. It's over for Matulik. The pass came from Palmer. Driven in by Paul Hand. So deflections come out a long way. Here's Brendan Flynn. Flynn centering pass. And the finish provided by Barclay Pearce. Number 9 of the night. Beavers going absolutely mad at this stage. Fans can't believe what they're seeing. Is there a chance for the shot? Redmond on the follow-up. Double figures for the Beavers. Uncharted territory for them at this stage of the season. Perrault finds Pearce. Pearce is going to go all the way and does go all the way. Great goal from him. Beavers 11, Racers 5.
What you might call an off night for Jock Hayes' team, but this was now what mattered. Wembley 95. The Devils fans were there, of course, in force. Racers supporters too. The Panthers had a snarl, and making up a 1/3 of the crowd, the Steelers contingent.
Yeah, I'd like to sit on the fence on that one. No, I think it's going to be very tight, but hopefully we'll win.
It'll be a tight match, ours against Cardiff, but I think we'll take this one about, what, 5-3, I reckon.
Yeah. And what about tomorrow?
Tomorrow, if we're playing Nottingham Panthers,
it'll be a shutout.
I really want to shut it.
8-0. We're Steelers.
Again, Steelers.
Woo! 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 Woo!
I think Cardiff will turn them over today, but
I think they will.
I hope they don't, because if there's going to be a team to beat them this weekend, I want it to be us.
Connie punches.
Smiles all round to start off the day at the country's oldest indoor sporting venue, but how many of those would remain at the end of the day, or for that matter, the weekend? As always, the concourse was awash with fans who'd come from all over the country. So this is how they lined up. The final 4, a mouth-watering prospect for certain. Cardiff against Sheffield, Nottingham versus Edinburgh. This, from a neutral standpoint, has all the makings of a final, but it's not to be, so one of the top 2 sides will miss out on glory this year. Contentious though this ruling may be, there is one new name in the Devils lineup. Patrick Scott from the Milton Keynes Kings comes in for top British player Ian Cooper. He got injured on GB duty in Bratislava. Scott is certain to add firepower to the McEwen and Ruggles line. As for the Steelers, several players, including top scorer Steve Nemeth, have injuries which would, under normal circumstances, keep them sidelined. This is new territory for Rob Wilson and Ken Priestley. All the others have been hit before, many involved in that 12-1 dropping by the Devils a year ago. The referee, Simon Kirkham, his linesmen, David Stevenson and Paul Staniforth. The colours by now I'm sure you're familiar with, the Sheffield Steelers in their predominantly black, and the Cardiff Devils with the strip they've been playing in, with a couple of minor alterations since the inception of the club in the mid-80s, in their red, white and green. Van der Horst looking for the man in centre ice, trying to get acquainted with his new line partner Paddy Scott. Cranston doing a good bit of back-checking. Cooper gets a bump into the boards. Don't have to categorise which Cooper we're talking about, only one of them involves Stephen Cooper. Good one by Scott, yes! On the board, 2:27 into the game, the Cardiff Devils, and he's having no problem at all fitting into the environs of the Welsh side, is he? Goes straight away with a great feed from Doug McEwen. Paddy Scott lets it go. Martin Mackay sees nothing of it, and before he knows where it is, it's in the back of the net, and the Cardiff Devils on the board.
And a very good start, a very lively and positive one from the Welsh side. Battle with Les Millie and Hilda Ruggles. That will continue throughout the course of the afternoon, I'm sure. Millie cleared by Ruggles, a little bit of afters involving Millie. Referee turns a blind eye to it this time. Maybe not all afternoon. Stephen Cooper stands Ron Shooter up on the blue line. Fed in by Scott. Ruggles, yes! Short-handed, just to rub salt into the Sheffield Steelers' wound. The goal coming on 4:11. And Hilton Ruggles, the top sniper goal-wise, 90-plus goals in the season, adds another one to his repertoire. And just slowed the pace of the play down and got past Martin Mackay. Wilson, clearance from deep by Shannon Hope, just returned from GB duty in Bratislava and will be flying out there after this weekend is completed. Priestley, Scott Neal, no way to go through there. Has to wheel around again, still Scott Neal. Can't work it in close enough. Long range boomer just wide, it's in! Rob Wilson didn't need any help around the front of the net. Plenty of it was arriving though, and Wilson from wide on the right, very tight to the right-hand boards. Just took his time, puck in motion. Wilson getting underneath that, one bounce into the right-hand corner of Jason Wood's net. Certain amount of battling qualities now being shown by the Sheffield Steelers. Plummer gets the tip in by Millie, yes! Well, the Cardiff Devils are claiming it went in off Les Millie's skate, and it's not going to be given by Simon Kirkham, or is it? Just talking with the timekeeper's bench, and yes, it's been given. So difficult to tell from that replay, but the goal will stand. 2-2. Chris Cammond. Let's pick somebody out in a black shirt. No route through that time, so Ron Shudra will have to restart the play in virtually the same position. Shudra, still Shudra, so big on the puck and very hard to remove once he's got it. Slam back in, Millie on the spin, yes! Second of the game for Les Millie, 1:36 into the second period. And Shudra will take a lot of credit for the work that he did to get Millie in that position in the first place. It bounced kindly back into the path of Les Millie on the turn. Got the accuracy and the direction just right. Steelers in front for the first time in the game. Scott Neal. Good score from that sort of angle. That might just put a bit of pressure on Jason Wood. It's loose out in front. And Ken Priestley gets the touch in. But no. Not this time. Simon Kirkham says, I've been kind and generous to you once. This time you're not going to get away with it. Worked out by Scott Neal, off the knee of Ken Priestley, then off the leg and the skate of Jason Wood, but it's not going to count. This really is a very, very good game of hockey, and perhaps just sad from the neutral's point of view. The uncommitted spectator. Oh, Doug McEwen coughed up by Rob Wilson, who was trying to get the puck to Tim Cranston. He was calling for it. Wilson looked up and he was the only person he could see, and he didn't see Doug McEwen, just hovering around, aware of where the puck was, where the player was, and equally aware of where to put the puck once he was in possession. 3-3 at Wembley. Cardiff Devils and the Sheffield Steelers giving us a much better game than they did 12 months ago when the Cardiff Devils just ran riot. 12-1 victors on that night. This time round, it's a completely different story. A game that's very hard to predict. Nicky Chin, they say it's offside. It's not offside. They'll walk it in. Duma. The Sheffield Steelers are absolutely convinced that there should have been an offside call made there, and they virtually stopped playing as they raised their arms aloft towards the officials. Nothing was called. You see Tim Cranston thinking something should have happened, the play should have stopped, it didn't, so Nicky Chin continued, played to the whistle as you should do, and Claude Dumas slides it onto the body of Martin Mackay. 4-3 Devils. Millie. It's a nasty one for Jason Wood to deal with. Just bats it down. Defence not quite certain what to do. Kept in the zone though. There's Millie. Good work by him. Got the better of that check with Ruggles. And in front, there's the man for the conversion, and this time it will stand. Ken Priestley had one goal disallowed, but in the right place at the right time, with time running out for the Sheffield Steelers cause. 8.5 minutes remaining in the game, and the Sheffield Steelers once again have tied it up 4 apiece. But again, the credit must go to the man who did all the hard work to put Priestley in with that chance. Les Millie, assist also for Rob Wilson. 4-4, very little time to go. Paddy Scott, great stop. How could she sleep through this with all the noise being generated? That's the end of 60 minutes of action. We could have another 10 yet still to come. Whose nerve is going to hold and whose is going to crumble? It's sudden death overtime. And the Steelers fans, with just about every instrument known to man, got into the Wembley Arena, make as much noise as they can muster to get their team to find the goal that will settle this game and send them through to the final against either the Panthers or the Racers. Quite a cacophony in the Wembley Arena. Very few spare seats. And I tell you, the Devils fans are making a lot of noise as well, but probably being outshouted and outplayed at the moment by the Sheffield Steelers. Now Plummer, great chance for him. He's got the wheels. Has he got the support? Millie arriving. Devils still haven't cleared it. Shannon Hope hasn't cleared the zone. Now they have. Chase will be on for Rob Wilson. Defensive support down the left from Chris Calland. Calland might think about doing something himself. Instead gives it to Nemeth. Quick release from him into the corner. Man chasing in. It's Scott Neal. It's loose out in front. Nearly fell onto the stick of Ken Priestley, but nearly in a sudden death overtime is not enough. They seem pretty relaxed about it all, but I tell you, it's nerve-wracking for anybody, committed or uncommitted, whether you've got a team to support or not in this game. Sudden death overtime has strange effects on players and people. Cranston, can he win it with this? No, he can't. Jason Ward, what a good stop. Plummer! Shannon Hope somehow stopped that crossing the line. 2 good chances in the space of a matter of seconds, and the Steelers nearly had it, but it now might be a chance for the Devils. Back on defence, the Cardiff Devils making sure they don't cough it up. McEwen will now take his position. He's too wide now, being forced further wide by Ron Shudra. Cranston behind the back of the net. Steelers look to clear in their zone. They do now. Here's Shannon Hope. Got a good shot if he wants to let it rip. Doesn't feel it's quite in position yet. McEwen is almost there. Great shot. How did Duma miss that? The goal was begging to be filled. Mackay had committed himself. Here's Mike O'Connor. Cleared by Stephen Cooper. Off the linesman. He'll have to chase it back or try and hold the man off the play. His GB colleague Tim Cranston. Both would love to be in Bratislava at the moment, but duty calls at Wembley. Hilton Ruggles fires it in wide, and that's it. The end of sudden death overtime. You can't separate these two teams. It remains at 4 apiece. So that means we've got the penalty shootout to come. Just imagine how those two benches will be feeling. The Sheffield Steelers bench, just a touch of anxiety, as you might imagine. Cardiff Devils have won the first moral battle. They've won the toss, and they've decided that the Sheffield Steelers will have to take their penalty shots first. So Martin Mackay, who was prepared to take whatever was thrown at him initially, will make way for Jason Wood. Well, the number 1 in the league, will they be number 1 at Wembley? That remains to be seen. Jason Wood. First penalty shot, Ken Priestley. Can he find a way through the goal? He finds it with great precision. Jason Wood did his best to try and put Priestley off with his movements as he approached the crease. But Wood beaten on this occasion. And there is a netminders fraternity. They all get on extremely well. And this must be absolute torture for them. Martin Mackay's been in this situation before. Paddy Scott, can he find the target? He can. And then Martin Mackay falls over and lands in the net, picks himself up. Knows that we're back to square one. It's 1-1 in the penalty shots. And now Steve Nemeth, far from fully fit. Steelers will remember the Whitley experience earlier this season, but Nemeth, that's a brilliantly taken penalty shot. Cool and calm and composed. Earlier in the year, they missed all their penalty shots against Whitley in the Castleton Cup. Not this time, though. Ruggles, where's he going to go? He's gone the wrong way. He lost control of the puck as he approached the goal and just couldn't get it back. He had time and distance running out on him, and by the time he had to make his mind up, it was too late. Shooter's going one way and the other. In fact, he virtually outfoxed himself there. Look on his face will tell you everything you need to know about his feelings towards that miss. Claude Dumas, former Sheffield Steeler, now Cardiff Devils, and he misses! Or Mackay, we should say, made the stop. Credit to the netminder for guessing correctly. Took up a central position in the goal. Now, Les Milley. If he converts, Doug McEwen, who's been lined up to take the next penalty shot for the Cardiff Devils, will have to score. Milley against Woods. Everything going right for the little Scot this weekend. He's had an impeccable game. And in case you didn't notice, that's what it was. Now, pressure is a word used a lot in sport. All of it now heaped on the shoulders of Doug McEwen. It's he against Mackay. And Mackay gets in the way of the penalty shot. The Cardiff Devils bow out. It's not going to be 3 times in a row as champions at Wembley, but the Sheffield Steelers booked their second final in a row. This time they get the number of the Cardiff Devils. Those fans are delighted. That team is distraught. 7-5 to the Steelers after penalty shots.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be very tight. When they jumped ahead 2-0, I was a bit concerned because I think we had the ghost coming back to 12-1 from last year. We were a bit worried about that. But, you know, once we got in the flow of things and we got a couple of bounces and tied it up, I thought, you know, it could go either way. Obviously, the way it turned out, Cardiff could have quite easily snatched it from us.
The whole game's getting so defensive that when you got a 2-goal lead, you just don't think about scoring, and the game's getting that way. But still, there's a lot of players, you know, in Britain that still think that when we get the puck in our end, I'm going to go score a goal. They're thinking offense rather than making sure first that A, we don't cough the puck up, B, then we clear the zone, and then we go offense. And it's tough to do. There's so much discipline. To think, what can I do for the team? Well, I can go score a goal, but you don't really, the way it's going, there's not that many opportunities to score goals, so you make sure you don't cough the puck up.
Well, our biggest problem, going into tomorrow is our injury. We've been limping along for 6 weeks now, and we've been very fortunate in so much that we've got some good bounces. We've won some games. Our playoff section was very difficult, and it took the toll on us. We didn't have the luxury. We had to work right to the very last game. It was right down to the final game, whether we came here or not. So, the biggest thing tomorrow is that if we can get a couple of guys healthy, we can give somebody a game. If we're not, then we're going to be hemmed on our end a bit tomorrow, and hopefully the goaltender will save us.
This is almost as difficult to call as the first semi-final. Both sides on the day can be explosive but have their frailties too. Panthers will look to Paul Adey, a big game player, and prolific scorer Rick Brabant, and 2 talented homegrown players such as Simon Hunt, Ashley Tate and Randall Webber, and British Defenceman of the Year Graham Waghorn. The top Edinburgh line of Tony Hand, Palmer and Matulik amassed 239 goals between them in the regular season. Hand also an astonishing 137 assists. Tony Hand. Oh, yes. What a finish from Tony Hand. On the power play, 3:17 gone in the game. The feed from Epperson, the finish, precision-like from Tony Hand. And Palmer going to his right. Through the centre, he takes that option. Here's a chance for Edmiston, one-on-one with Butler. Outthinks the Nottingham Panthers netminder. The second power play goal of the evening. It's 2-0 to the Edinburgh Racers. Here's Mo Priest, second line out for the Edinburgh Racers. There's Mike Ware, tries to get through a lot of traffic, can't. Pentland whips it away. Panthers committed down that end of the ice. And so committed, in fact, there could be a bit of a break on here for the Edinburgh Racers. And not this time, Ware! Well, the answer is in the back of the net. That's Ware. Mike Ware with the third of the evening and 2 in just under a minute. Garth Freeman. This game is certainly not shaping up quite the way we anticipated it would. Tony Hand, with close attention from Paul Adey. Graham Waghorn, lovely pass. Adey's open in front and scores. The Panthers on the board. It's taken 15 minutes and 52, but they're there at last. And something for their travelling fans, of which there are many here, to celebrate. Panthers trying to work it in. Again, the man who's causing problems around the front is Adey. Battling for his Brabant. There's Adey just take up his position. They've got to watch him like a hawk. They didn't know. And on the power play, this time with their man advantage, Paul Adey makes it count. Assist also, I think, for Chuck Taylor. And probably Brabant as well. 18:32 on the game. 3-2 to the Racers. No, Priest going like a train. Couldn't get the pass. That's Richie Lamb going for quite a heavy tumble into the boards. Pass is just going straight from the Panthers right now. They've got it back, and here's Lamb again. Priest! I think Stephen Butler might have been screened on that as it came across. You think he'd won the cup. Not just scored his first goal of the game, but Merv Priest opens up that 2-goal margin again. Waghorn. Palmer. Freeman giving him very close attention. Tony Hand. Hand open is Matulik, but he doesn't need him. The net taken off its moorings, but John Moore, the referee, says the puck has entered the back of the net before the net came adrift. Tate is the man waiting out in front. Ware may have him covered. He's just going to take up his station in front of the net to make sure there's no route through. Palmer doing a bit of back checking. Matulik is robbed of the puck. Tate, here's Brabant. Oh, forced out wide, still loose, and it's in. Sneaks in, and I think it's probably Paul Adey again. It is Paul Adey again, a straight hat-trick for him. 25-19 into the game. There's a bit more shouting and encouragement now from the Panthers fans. Hat-trick it. Racers defence a bit out of position. In fact, they've all pulled across the left-hand side, giving the wraparound chance for Ross Lambert. And Ross Lambert scores, and that's 2 in the space of 26 seconds for the Nottingham Panthers. And perhaps now they're coming back into the game. Matulik. Good cover by Chuck Taylor, but they haven't cleared the zone. It's still bobbling around. Hand, Matulik. Hand again. Might go for the long-range blast. In front is Chris Palmer. They say he's in the crease. I think that's what Simon Hunt is claiming, that when Palmer put it in, he was in the crease. John Moore won't listen and gives the goal. Adey, been outstanding for the Panthers. Very often is Mr. Consistency really for them. Brabant, top scorer on the team. Adey again. Boy, is he on form tonight. Number 4 of the night. 15:36 into the second period, and the Panthers draw it back again within touching range now of the Edinburgh Racers at 6-5. Edmiston, just a talented player, perhaps doesn't always show the capability he has got. Just shows you what I mean there. What a lovely piece of play by the Edinburgh Racers, and the finish pretty good too from Merv Priest, who enjoyed that one just as much as he did the first. Edmiston. Let's go, boys. You can hear the shout from I think Mike Blaisdell on the Nottingham bench. Taylor. Lambert. Oh dear. Didn't work out very well. It might fall back into the path of the Panthers play. In fact, here's a good chance, and a great chance of Tony Hand. I was just about to say the butler made a good save and a good stop then. He seemed to have done all the hard work and positioned himself well, but it's got through the defences of the Nottingham Panthers netminder. And Tony Hand on hand again. Randall Webber. Pass is just out going to sticks. Seems to be said of both sides at this stage. Webber. Freeman. Biggest cheer of the night for the Nottingham Panthers fans, because they realise that's a goal of great significance. 6 on the ball for them. Work back in. Oh, it's through. 8-7 to the Edinburgh Racers. And Panthers within touching distance now. Long range plus. Good stop by Maury Hansen. Set to take an awful lot of rubber in his direction. Fired in by Waghorn. Away comes Mike Ware. Just a little bit too far ahead. But pulled back in range, and there's the finish through Chris Palmer. I thought it was like a training routine, and a big, broad smile all over Tony Hand's face. Matulik's missed quite a few one-on-ones, but not this time. I think he's so delighted. He's missed a handful of chances of a similar kind, but this time he puts it away. Real old scramble. Maury Hansen doesn't know where it is. Fortunately, his defence do. Here's Mo Priest. Priest, feed. Still there. Priest knows it's there and puts it away. 30 seconds to go in the game. And there's absolutely no doubt who's going to the final now. It's the Edinburgh Racers. Last action of the game. All a bit despondent from a Panthers point of view. Won't matter, because the whistle had already gone to signify the end of the game. It's 11-7 to the Racers, and they will face the Sheffield Steelers in the final, and those fans will be giving them as much vocal encouragement and instrumental encouragement as they can.
Two lines have different game plans, because obviously they're playing against different lines, and we try to pick up Brabant and make sure, we got Chris was coming off the wing to pick up Premack, and our other D was coming down to pick up 80, and that was basically it. Just try to shut them down, and we just tried to play the breaks, like defend, and obviously we knew we'd get chances, because we're an offensive team. We knew we'd get chances, and the guys took their chances when they came.
Well, I think we're certainly underdog, and I fancy that. I mean, you go into the final game expected to win, and nothing less is pretty much a burden. So for us, we're just going to go out there and then try our best, and hopefully luck will go our way.
What's it going to be like for you? It must be a strange feeling being out there on Sunday afternoon, knowing you were in this position 12 months ago with the team you're playing against.
It definitely will be going through my mind. I mean, we had some good times last year with Sheffield, but as for now, I mean, I'm a part of a different team, and I'll just have to put the good times with Sheffield behind me and go out there and try to stir some havoc.
I hate to make excuses for players, but perhaps injuries played a part in it. Injuries, maybe the chemistry wasn't there. I don't know if we ever got the import chemistry right this year. It was clear tonight that the other team's imports were far superior to ours at times. Their ability to put the puck in the net. We lost an ability to put the puck in the net. We had to work so hard for every goal. So that's a little bit of it, I guess.
We seemed to score, and then a couple of goals, and then they'd score right away, and that's, we just couldn't get our head in front. But come the third period, you could see they were pushing hard, and we knew they were going to open up, and once they opened up, to be honest with you, we killed them when they opened up, because that's the way we play. We're all good at handling the puck. And to be honest with you, I think we deserved to win. We worked hard. We never gave up. Even when they did come back, we kept fighting our way again. And to give not in the credit, they never gave up either. They kept working in. Both teams wanted to win bad, and we just got a couple of good breaks in the day, and we were happy to win.
I joined a team that came out of the obvious difficulties last year, with the hope that everything would go all right. Everything has gone great so far, so it would be just the perfect icing on the cake for me.
I'm just very proud of the Racers who made the final, unlike Hearts and Hibs. I think Scotland should be proud of them, and wishing the best of luck.
We are number one. We are number one. We are number one.
Now, here's a real labour of love for you. A lady who really was in stitches all weekend.
Started off just doing one or two, and then I couldn't miss anybody out, so they're all here. That's Martin Mackay there. Got his number on the back, look.
We're here to win the British Championship.
Yep.
to
win the British Championship. Beat the Steelers. Yep. Beat the Steelers from Sheffield.
Steelers! Steelers!
Well, I can't really say, but I think we'll win by a couple of goals.
You hope we'll win.
Should win.
No, we'll win by a couple of goals.
8-4.
8 hat-trick.
The Steelers.
Tony will get a couple, Ivan will get a few, so will Chris, so will Mike Ware.
Ivan.
Oh, terrific.
Sorry,
Yeah.
just keep it
Signing we ever had.
Right. Yep. Yep.
And what about that Mike Ware bloke, the one who was going to sign for Sheffield last year?
Oh, he knows where he's well off. Yeah.
Well, the Steelers are bound to win.
It's going to be 7-3 to the Racers. Yeah, but
7-3?
7-3.
Okay,
7-2?
we'll go for 7-3.
7-1?
Yeah.
7-1.
7-0. Shot time.
The two beaten semi-finalists in the B&H Cup get through to the biggest showpiece occasion of the season. Edinburgh, the form team going into the finals, topped their group and picked off Cardiff in the process. Sheffield have already tasted success with the league title, but want a second honour to silence their detractors, of whom there are many. Racers answered the critics, who say they're a one-line team with an outstanding showing from the second line to beat the Nottingham Panthers in the semi-finals. But if they're to win, the names of Tony Hand, Chris Palmer and Ivan Matulik have to be uppermost, as does the netminder Maury Hansen, who pulled off some fine stops against the Panthers. The Sheffield Steelers are not too fond of the favourites tag, but with Ken Priestley and Steve Nemeth and an impressive second line, including Les Milley, Tim Cranston and Tommy Plummer, they must be seen in that light. They have three former racers in their lineup: Chris Kelland, Scott Neal and netminder Martin Mackay, who plays golf with Maury Hansen during the course of the summer.
We're ready for the 1995.
Referee for the big game of the season, Graham Horner, who presided over a couple of very big games recently, including the league decider between the Nottingham Panthers and the Sheffield Steelers. The racers in their white, blue and red, playing from left to right. Steelers in the strip that you have seen in the semi-final, black with orange and green. Mike O'Connor forced to make the first defensive clearance of the game. Doesn't get it far enough away, and Ivan Matulik, who the Steelers will know very well. He played with them last year, was at this very arena last year, and Tim Cranston fires one in. Maury Hansen just makes sure that as much of his body and all the protection he can get is in behind that. Ware fired back in by Wilson. Been a very good acquisition for the Steelers this year, giving them a bit of solidity on defence. The Sheffield Steelers Orchestra trying to play all the right notes. They know their team are not the greatest of starters in big games. They take a while to get going sometimes. That's certainly the case against the Cardiff Devils in the semi-final, where they found themselves 2-0 down in the first 5 minutes. Cranston going to get the charges on. Shudra not too far wide. Forced back in again, and Maury Hansen's watching the puck fired across his net. Unable to get anywhere near it at the moment. It might be on the rifle range. Shooter again. Support arriving on the right, but Tony Ham will get there first and clear the zone. Here's Chris Kelland. It's played in by Shudra. Has to wait then for the puck to clear the zone before he can get back into getting involved in the action. Here's Scott Neal, nearly robbed by Palmer, but Priestley gets it back. Priestley head down, lets one go. The whistle had already gone for offside, and I think Maury Hansen just got a little piece of that, but that was a Priestley rocket. Make no mistake about that. And I think the people behind the plexiglass were diving for cover, because that really was hit with an awful lot of force. Just got a deflection, yes, and well, braver souls than me to keep their heads up when that one's happening. The Sheffield Steelers' really productive line of late, the second line, if you like, for want of a better word. Here's
Cranston, Shudra, yes! Well, they can score from all areas of the ice and all departments of the team. The big man on defence moves forward and scores from Shudra. The Sheffield Steelers fans are acclaiming the goal. Shudra goes back to the Sheffield Steelers bench. Maury Hansen repositions himself. Shudra looks up. And as we watch the replay, I think Graham Horner is having a few words about whether this goal will stand or not. Now, the only reason that could possibly not be given is because the goal was off its moorings as a puck entered the net. But I think that's what's going to be given. The goal is not going to be given because, well, you can see for yourself, I think the net did come off its moorings before the puck entered. Well, in that case, really, I suppose it should be a delay of game penalty on Maury Hansen because he obviously took it off. Chris Calland, none too happy. Cheats rings out from the Sheffield Steelers fans. Let's look at that again. Cranston it is who feeds the pass to Ron Shudra. Now, just watch the goal. There goes the goal. There goes the puck. Not much in it. So there was a lot more movement after the puck went in. But the goal off its moorings, so it won't count. Big Rob Wilson trying to find Steve Nemeth just in ahead of him. Go and try and collect. Millie trying to be in the position in front of net, but not allowed to get there by Paul Hand. You know, his stick wrapped round him. Race is finding it hard to clear the zone. Forced back in by Wilson. The tough, tenacious work now. Wilson, yes! Well, I think he got a deflection off Tommy Plummer, so whether it'll be him or Rob Wilson who will get the credit for it, I don't know, but this goal will certainly count. And those fans are delighted with that, and so is Robbie Wilson. The Sheffield Steelers on the board. Just to emphasise the fact that they are, at long last, away from that deadlocked position. It's taken a while. But Rob Wilson comes back off the boards, and I think it came back with a slight deflection, or quite a big deflection in the end, of Tommy Plummer. Might get a better idea from this angle. Tommy Plummer goes sprawling, but it doesn't matter because the damage had already been done, and the Edinburgh Racers' defence is breached for the first time in the game. Been fairly quiet in terms of the noise being generated around the arena up to this stage, but that's for a little bit more decibel level from the Sheffield Steelers supporters. Now Tommy Plummer, head down. He's only going one way. Now where's the puck going? That's more to the point. That's the answer. Emphatic answer from Tommy Plummer. That's a quality goal from a wholehearted player who gives his all, gets involved in a few scraps sometimes, and is the most popular man with other teams around the country. But that's not a worry to his kind of nature. Just battles on regardless. That's great work. Pulled a move on Pentland. Pentland tried to get in his way. The Plummer said, "You're not going to stop me in this kind of mood." And I think that might well be for his dad, who's over from Canada to enjoy his son's big weekend. And again, the net comes off its moorings, but the puck was in there long before that happened. Wilson. Again, one of those now infamous rushes from him through the centre. Going to go all the way, but Maury Hansen denies him. Doesn't allow any ricochet to come back out. A bit of afters going on, which Graham Horner keeps a watchful eye on, but again it's Wilson, and Paul Hand does well just to drag him a bit wider than he would have liked for the shot. And an easy catch in the end for Maury Hansen. Mike Ware. Where's the man with the legs, with the acceleration, and with the drive to the net? O'Connor's there, it's loose out in front, the net's of its moorings again. And, I mean, formerly using the nets as used in the NHL. The problem is they work on magnets, and underneath the surface of the ice at the Wembley Arena, there's just concrete. Even with my fairly logical or illogical grasp of science, physics, I know that the two don't really go together. Tony Hand tried to poke it in. Shudra was the man just getting across him to make sure the finish was not as easy as he hoped. Mike O'Connor clears the zone, gives it to Wilson. Here's Priestley. Priestley with hand all over him, and did enough just to interrupt his flow as he edged towards the net. Maury Hansen, the final line of defence, to stop him getting anywhere near for a quality shot right in front. Wilson. Here's Cranston. Just loses control of it for a while, gets it back. Milley in his wake. Wilson driving to the net and just sticks and extends the stick out as far as he can to get control of the game back for the Racers. Matulik to know this defensive lineup very well for the Sheffield Steelers. Can he breach it? Can Tony Hand? Dean Everston, Hand, first time, second time, yes! It's through the legs of Martin Mackay. Found a gap through the 5-hole. And the Racers claw their way back still further into this game. And the Scottish support becomes even more vocal as Tony Hand, with well over 200 points during the course of the season, shows another of those very mature finishes. Here comes Tony Hand. Initial stop made by Mackay, but then quite a wide expanse between the pads for him to slide it through. The stick moved out of the way, so that wasn't a barrier anymore. Initial save made with the stick. Stick moved up, his legs came apart. Tony Hand slides it through. Shudra. Tony Hand having to work at both ends of the ice as he did so well in the semi-final. Tim Cranston kicked away by Maury Hansen. He's having a very good game indeed. Palmer lays it off. Was hoping with somebody in a white shirt. Didn't expect Tim Cranston to be ghosting into position. Cranston lost control of it a couple of times, then got it back. It's a tricky little customer when he gets going, Cranston. Winds up from long range. Again, Hansen, I think, just got a piece of it to force it wide. Battle will be in the corner with Pentland and Milley. Shudra, Milley still out in front, trying to keep him tied up as much as possible. I know he's been very productive over the course of this weekend. Tony Hand, good stop made by Martin Mackay, coming a few steps out from his goal. Narrow the angle. Oh, it's bouncing and bobbling everywhere apart from where the Racers want it. Racers bench looks on. Clyde Toole of the Sheffield Steelers passes on some more instructions. Happy that the message has hit home. Emerson gets the pass out to the right. Matulik's making his way forward. Mike Ware plays some nice fancy stuff out in front of that, but the final touch just not quite there. Now Plummer, already scored once in this game. In fact, got the credit for the first one, or should have done, but Wilson got that instead. Pentland. Mike O'Connor. He's got a good long-range shot when he wants to take it, but that was too far out, and Maury Hansen just gleefully watched that go wide of his pipe. First pass from Edmiston, Matulik. But the black shirts are there back in numbers, all in the right position, allowing perhaps a bit of a break on here. Cranston, Milley, Shudra out in front. We've hoped to have done better with that. Steelers still, well, they were for a while in control. Now Paul Ham will try and change all that. He's going to dribble through to the other end of the ice. Icing call. Play will return back down to the Racers' end of the ice. Paul Hand looking for Richie Lamb. Try and help with the clearance, because the Racers find it a little bit difficult to get out of their defensive zone right now. Scott Plews, that didn't take the kind of deflection he was hoping for, because puck turned around, but Hand has it back. Shooter takes most of the way off that before it bobbles into the direction of Martin Mackay. Milley. Plummer. There's a lot of telepathy, as you might expect, between these three. Plummer, Cranston and Milley, because they've formed a almost unique partnership in the Premier Division this year. Martin Mackay knows the Racers inside out, having played for them for 4 years. I was playing with them the last time the Racers made Wembley, in the final that is, in 1990. Well,
I would think a good quarter, perhaps, of the fans here at the Wembley Arena are wearing Sheffield Steelers favours. I think all the other fans are probably supporting the Edinburgh Racers, and that one finds its way through. Chris Palmer, something out of nothing, really. And Martin Mackay will wonder just how that managed to sneak its way through. The game is tied at 2, and Merv Priest will continue the celebrations on the bench as Chris Palmer enjoys himself. Seeing the sides back on level terms. It was Tony Hand again, and Palmer, and Martin Mackay goes, whoops. Thought I had that one covered, but he didn't. Didn't look like everything was in place to stop that one sneaking through, but Palmer finds the little chink, the little opening he needs, and Jock Hay gives his players a pat on the back and gives them a few extra words of encouragement and says, right, we're back in this game again. Not that we were ever really out of it, but at 2-2, it's back to where we started again. Lamb, Shudra in the corner. There goes Cranston, forcing his way forward. You never know quite what he's going to do. He's a mercurial player. Blues with Cranston just trying to hold him at bay. Comes Scott Blues, a very promising defenseman for the future for the Edinburgh Racers. Emerson goes on the sprawl. Opening now perhaps for Tim Cranston. Top right-hand corner. That was radar-like accuracy from Tim Cranston. The water bottle went leaping into the air, and so too to the Sheffield Steelers fans. A little bit of afters involving Blues on the boards on the far side. Great wrist shot, though, by Tim Cranston. It was the side of the goal that Maury Hansen thought he had covered. But as he looked round and saw the water bottle going vertically, he knew full well he hadn't got it covered. Came out a few steps from his goal line, and Cranston makes it 3-2. Whipped away by Maury Hansen. Plummer. Everson will try and help out with the clearance. Here's Mike Ware, doesn't need any help from anybody else, and do it all by himself. Palmer. Tony Hand fires it in. Good stop again by Martin Mackay. Two netminders having very good games. All right, Martin's let a couple of sloppy ones in, but on the way through some very, very good stops. And Maury also in tip-top form. Cranston. Cranston hasn't got anybody else to support with him, had to do it all by himself, and nearly completed the task and completed the job with individual panache. Palmer, Tony Hand, drop pass, who's behind? Mike Ware's behind. Ware again, it's fallen loose to Priestley! A one-on-one for Priestley, Scott and Ware get tangled in centre ice. It doesn't matter though, because at the other end, Priestley with the one-on-one opportunity, almost akin to a penalty shot situation. And Maury Hansen sees the puck rifled over his left shoulder. And Ken Priestley, former Pittsburgh Penguin, where he won 2 Stanley Cups, the highest accolade in ice hockey in the world, in club ice hockey that is, does the business for the Sheffield Steelers, and the gap widens still further. Well, Scott Neal and Mike Ware became entangled in centre ice. Priestley wasn't worried about what was happening behind, just what was happening in front. And Ken Priestley enjoying his Wembley weekend, and will certainly be enjoying seeing this one back again. Very well controlled. Look at the puck rolling on its end, on its edge, back. It's still bobbling around. He gets it under control, and then up it goes, down goes Hansen. And another goal for Ken Priestley. Shudra with Nemeth to his left. Nemeth picks up the range, and then Shudra looked like he was going to convert from there, but somehow managed to miss the target. And in front, Millie. Les Millie again. This boy has a Midas touch right now. Everything he does in front of net just seems to work the oracle and work the miracle. 2 goals plus the penalty shot conversion in the game against the Cardiff Devils on Saturday. And he's bang on target again, Les Millie. And again, good work. Opens up,
seized the opportunity. Ware was probably screening his netminder a bit as the puck came through the bodies. It's all Steelers right now. They've got the measure of the race, as it would seem. No penalty call. Graham Horner waves it off. Rob Wilson fires one in. Maury Hansen overbalancing. Happy to see it just go wide. Paul Hand, that's not the best of clearances. Paul Pentner will try and complete it. Merv Priest is there as well. Into the corner goes Paul Hand. And just fans it, then takes a bit of a tumble, but Emerson has it now. Defensive cover back again for the Sheffield Steelers. 4 bodies in behind the puck to stop Eppeston making any further progress. Now Nemeth is open, tees it up. Oh, that's a rocket. An absolute rocket from Steve Nemeth. They call Ron Shudra the Rocket down Sheffield way. Well, he could almost accept that moniker himself. So I think we'll even see in slow motion. That puck was travelling, and you have to feel sorry for Maury Hansen. Steve Nemeth has been timed at about 90 miles an hour recently with his shots. That was probably up there, if not in excess of it. Full backswing, and that's the perfect place to stick the puck. And not great histrionics by Steve Nemeth. Wilson drives it in. Richie Lamb, one of the promising players in the racers' ranks. They've got a lot of good things and positive things to look forward to for the future, but the immediate future doesn't look too bright. Rob Wilson, mazy run from him. Still Wilson, I don't believe it's going to go all the way, and he has gone all the way. Well, the eyes have it, as they say. You just need to look into Maury Hansen's eyes to know what he feels about the current predicament and situation. Rob Wilson, the emotions could hardly be more contrasting. He knows how to celebrate a goal, and he certainly knows how to score them as well. We pick it up 3/4 of the way down the ice. Most of the hard work already done, but the finish still required, and the finish is provided by Rob Wilson, and celebrations to match. Once again, Wilson just playing with the puck, easing it, teasing it towards the goal, looks up, pulls a move on Maury Hansen, rounds him, and Rob Wilson does it again. Second of the game for the big defenseman. 7-2, the Sheffield Steelers look like they're going to leave it that way as Tim Cranston pushed it around the boards, and that's it. Wembley 1995 belongs to them, the Sheffield Steelers fans, and to him, the Sheffield Steelers team manager and the man behind the Sheffield Steelers coach, Clyde Toole. Presentation of the Wembley Championship trophy to the captain of the Sheffield Steelers from the president of the British Ice Hockey Association, Frederick Meredith, to Ron Shudra. Flashbulbs going off all over the place. Shudra making sure that the trophy is intact. Meredith wishes him well, sends him on his way to one pocket, one section of the Sheffield Steelers supporters.
I think the commitment really that we've shown over the last year has been brought forward into the playoffs. We struggled a bit at the start of the playoffs, and then basically we picked ourselves up a bit. We came round, we said, come on, we've got to do it, we're going to do it. Basically it was self-belief. We wanted to win that trophy. Winning the league put a lot of pressure on us. I think everybody was expecting us to get here, which possibly was a bit of added incentive as well. As we've got to get there, we've got to prove everybody wrong that we're going to win this thing as well. So I mean, we have got our critics, as everybody knows, but we went out there, we had a positive attitude, positive frame of mind, and we went out and done our jobs.
Boys are very committed to winning not only the league title. You know, we knew what we had to do. We were 7 points down at Christmas, and Nottingham had 2 points. There were 2 games in hand on us, so we knew that we needed a little bit of help from somebody else. And you know, unfortunately, they lost a few games in the last half, and we went on a pretty good run. You know, we dipped in the playoffs a little bit. We lost our first 2, but I think that was more of the other teams playing very, very well, and you know, the group was tough, and we knew we had to at least win 1 on the road. Basically, is what it is. You win 1 on the road and win your home games, and you qualify for this. And
you know, we showed up here and we knew Cardiff was going to be a 50-50 game, no matter what. You know, it comes right down to penalties. It's a tough time to lose anything on that, that's for sure. But you know, it happens. And then again, you know, today it just worked out the best for us.
Winning the league was a great feeling, but I never thought it'd be this sort of feeling winning the championships. I mean, it's hard to explain really. It's just such a great feeling. You get a rush through your body. You've won it. You go, oh, thank goodness we've won it. We've done it. And basically, we're all really proud of ourselves as well, and which is something that we've worked hard at. We've worked really hard. So we've given each other a pat on the back, and also we've worked hard for the fans as well.
That was the season that was, and a highly memorable one it was too. They may have a lot of detractors, but the Steelers collected the league and championship double to erase the memory of that crushing 12-1 scoreline against the Devils a year ago. But perhaps the real winner this year has been the sport of ice hockey, growing stronger domestically through the 1990s.